Hello, my dear friends. Let me immediately check if I have sound. Okay, looks like I don't have sound on my computer. Give me a sec. Actually, I see, I hear sound, so it's fine. Okay, so let's start. Today's question, yeah, after my yesterday stream on wheels, I during my drive, um, when I stopped, okay, when I stopped and checked my sound, after that it's gone. It was my first ever time I tried to do web camera on my mobile browser streaming, because I can do mobile streaming as I told you. So yeah, it's not going as planned, so that's it. But I didn't tell anything interesting after sound broke, so I uh, cut the video and it's create actually new video, so it's not stream but video. But yeah, you find out if you want to see. Today's question is why actually people in Ukraine, but I bet not only in Ukraine, hate developers, or if we will ask more widely, broadly, it would be why people are jealous about someone who is successful, who makes more money, etc. And in different countries, of course, it's different. Different people, even in the same country, are different. But I see in some countries it's more visible. In some countries, it's less visible, or maybe not less visible, but actually people are different. I wouldn't say better or worse, because it's historical changes. It's historical events which lead to that type of things. So right now I'm in United States, but most part of my life I spent in Ukraine, and I saw the country which basically fall apart after USSR fall apart, so nobody knows how to live. They Everything was started from the scratch. It's something unbelievable. It's very hard to imagine how it would be, for example, in the United States. You can imagine if some states go and declare independence of other United States, like let's imagine Texas, California. You saw that probably cinema movie in, I don't remember, like not Independence Day, but some other about the Civil War in United States. So yeah, it wasn't a war, but people really don't know how to live, and everything fall apart. And then it was very hard about 10 years when country uh, understand its new realities, build business, build rules, etc., etc. Then up to 2010, up to 2008, people start to live more or less good. Then it was financial crisis, which also hit Ukraine pretty badly. A lot of big companies fall apart, a lot of banks go bankrupt. So, and after that, life again become better and better. And of course, Ukraine is very bureaucratic. It's very there are so many hidden processes there. So it's understandable that after creation of that country in 1992, the most successful people were mostly criminals, let's say that. Also politicians. Politicians were very rich because they support some businesses which mostly led by criminals. So it was understandable why people start to believe that if person is successful, if person is rich, he doing something bad. Yes, maybe for United States also someone thinks that, but I believe it's possible to become pretty rich in the United States using your mind, using your bright mind, your hard work, etc. And you do nothing criminal, nothing bad. In most cases it's not true, but sometimes I believe it's still possible. That's why I like United States, that side of that country. So after that, people start doing their private business, become private entrepreneurs, etc., and they work really hard to make some money. Taxes in Ukraine are actually pretty high. They are hidden. For example, you receive money from your employee and you don't pay any taxes, but employee pays taxes for you. If you do like pretty median salary in Ukraine, like $200, employee pays for you like 40% of taxes. And if you do your own business, of course you do pay the same taxes for your employees. And there are some other multiple taxes. So taxes in Ukraine are pretty complicated. They are actually very complicated. So it's so complicated that many people decide not to do legally their business. And even if they try to do their business legally, etc., if they will not go criminal, I'd say they don't go not legal, they couldn't make too much. And now on the scene we see software developers. Software developers use some leak in Ukrainian taxes and Ukrainian laws, which probably created for some companies, and they can be on special tax break and pay only less than 5% of their income as the taxes. And because they're software developers in any country is not poorest people, yeah, so people receive something. And if you receive in Ukraine even one third of what median developer receives in United States, you will be very rich in Ukraine. So it's uncomparable money, at least previously, what you can receive as a developer in Ukraine and as developer in United States. And when people understand that software developers receive much more than other specialties in other professions, of course they start thinking, oh, it's not, something is not good here, because I worked all my life and I can do maybe $300, and developer who just started his career like a few years ago now doing $3,000. It's very high amount of money for average person in Ukraine, believe me. So yeah, of course it's creates so many questions, and because of all that poor state for many years, and because country wasn't in a good shape, and actually it's pretty young country despite very long history of people who live on that territory. Of course it's create not the best feelings in the people, and people are not like so soft, not so forgiving, not so nice. You probably saw that, yes, people from Slavic countries not so nice. And it creates that issues, people not feel good about others who are doing a lot of money, and they suspect something, and they think that they do something illegal, and actually they're not happy for them. They happy when they have some problems. I understand that it's not only about Ukraine. The percent of such people exist in every country. But I had feeling that in Ukraine, percent of such people slightly more. Maybe it's few percent, but believe me, maybe in United States people know how to hide all their feelings. But actually, I communicate a lot here and there, and they saw that like any belongings here is not as valuable as in Ukraine. For example, if in Ukraine you have a good car, many people will be jealous. If you have a good car here, many people say, okay, he can afford it, or he will pay a lot of money for rent, for lease, for etc. So everyone doesn't care. Car is just for driving, for arriving to the work, commuting. It's instrument. In Ukraine, it's luxury. So when developers can buy themselves cars, expensive phones, DSLRs, cameras, etc., people become to be jealous. Okay, I think we don't have a lot of time left, but we can try something new. We can try to speak with ChatGPT about the same question, and let's see how it sees that problem. Let's switch the screen, and let's find that screen here. Okay, I believe I found it. Yeah, let's say hi. Maybe it will remember me in some future days and say he was polite, I will not kill him. Doing great. Let's talk about people feelings about other people which are more rich, more successful. Let's compare United States and Ukraine in that matter. You see I do a lot of mistakes because I do a lot of mistakes. Let's see what it says us. Okay, it says that in United States it can be complex, attitude towards success. Okay. Yes, it's true. Successful individuals, they don't feel shy about their success in United States. Of course, now these days in Ukraine it's war, but let's say just before war, Ukraine become more kind of European country, and more people start to act and feel like they are more European than Slavic people. Of course, it's also start to be admired like successful people. But before that, as I said, it wasn't so true. In Ukraine, wealth and success may be influenced by country history and economical conditions. Yeah, it's basically what I told you. It's influenced a lot. Ukrainians may admire those who have achieved success and financial stability. Okay, however, there might be also skepticism or worthiness towards the wealthy, especially if their wealth is perceived again through corruption or unfair advantages. And basically, that corruption or unfair advantages, it's first which come to mind to Ukrainian people, especially of older age. Okay. Yes. Yeah, ChatGPT is very politically correct. If our politics would be the same correct, have the same culture as ChatGPT, probably will have much less wars, much less conflicts, because ChatGPT, I understand it's special instructions, of course, but you see, it's tried to be calligraphic, it's tried to be accept all. Okay, you know what? It means that our 15 minutes come to the end. Let me see if I Okay, let me finish that. So yes, if all the political persons were the same holographic as ChatGPT, for sure we had much less wars, much less conflicts, and we will be all much more wealthy. We don't have less. We would have much less people who struggle from different things, from health conditions, because they're hungry, angry, and so on. Yes, sorry for my English. When I'm emotional, it's hard to find proper words. So yes, now we will not do any further. We don't want to explore any further aspects today. We'll leave it for the next stream. But as you see, ChatGPT basically confirm what I said, and of course it will not tell it through real person eyes who saw it during all his lifetime. Of course it would be more gallant, more calm, yes, and more diplomatic when ChatGPT told us all of that. But basically I couldn't argue with his answer in that matter. So yeah, let's see what we will have for the next time. Hope you will have a wonderful day, night, or morning. I decided to call that stream as a late night show. I know it's not late night at my time zone, it's just 9 p.m. but it's 12 on East Coast, and I know that many Americans, it's a really late night. In Ukraine, by the way, late night start maybe at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 2 a.m. at least. 1 a.m. it's not late night, it's just beginning. Yes, 12 it's midnight, it's just late evening maybe, or maybe not so late. So yeah, those are differences. We can talk about it if you're interested, but yeah. So again, hopefully have a good day, a good time. Write some comments, some questions. We can discuss all of that. And yeah, see you. Have a good everything.